Live from New York. It's a show that's back from ping pong and no longer speaking to Greg Jennings. So that's one issue that we're going to have throughout the show.
Yeah.
And the other issue is something we flirted with yesterday and was brought to, you really brought it to the forefront.
Yeah.
That with the Chiefs.
This isn't about the Chiefs. It's
it's a
your
little bit.
Patriots take.
No, a little bit of like a lot of the Chiefs' success has been the thrust of the show. And that seat has carried a lot of the editorial burden.
Yeah.
Which now you've relinquished. And that maybe it's someone else's turn to take the crown.
We trading seats?
I think not permanently, but I'd like to give it a run.
Let's see how you
That
do.
if I win the Super Bowl, it's,
well, when you win the Super Bowl, you're about to be a dynasty.
But like the questions all have to come to me. I have to be ready to shoot.
Okay.
Wow. Really?
I have to be ready to shoot.
All right, do you have a script for me that other people have spent all day preparing?
First of all, I write the script. I don't. If you see a pun, I don't write it.
Can I have script?
That's that.
You can have my watch.
Ooh.
There you go. Hold on.
This isn't up.
I got to make my hair look like a nerd. Wait a second.
Not true.
Thank you. All right. How does
Wow,
it look,
get
Brou?
some highlights.
Oh my goodness.
Your hair looks good.
Thanks,
Thing
Brou.
you know?
Hold on. I've got some of his pomade too.
I
there
love
we go.
it.
Oh wow, what a look. All right.
Oh man.
Oh,
Y'all are really going all
Hold on
in.
a second. I'm gonna get my arm broken from a guy who I owe $50,000 to.
Oh, hey, that's not what happened. That's not any way to start this.
Wow, all by myself.
There we go.
Brou?
Okay.
Nice over
All
there.
right. All right. We start with Super Bowl odds.
I don't mean to interject, but go ahead.
Patriots currently the number 1 seed in the AFC. They've beaten the Bills. They play them again after their bye, but are behind them in the Super Bowl odds, which look like this: Rams, Seahawks, Packers, Bills, Eagles, and finally, the 11-win Patriots, which makes no sense because they have the most wins, and obviously they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Great point.
KW, are you ready to claim somehow a softer claim than you made yesterday when you said they are in the midst of a dynasty, that they are going to win this year's Super Bowl?
What's all this?
I don't know. I don't quite know how to sit. I don't quite know how to sit. I'm willing to do that today. And Brou, it's largely just the data. Okay? I'm going to show you 1, 2, 3 full screens that explain my position perfectly. And I'm not going to go through the history of the Patriots, although when I sit in the seat, I want to start with 2001 and just go through year by year. Number 1, I'm really trying to convince you. You're just there for the hijinks.
Yeah, I know. Trust me.
Quarterback.
All right.
We know that Drake May's having a phenomenal year. I think we can show the graphic to you. Leading the NFL in passer rating, the youngest since the merger. Both Drake May and Dan Marino are 23. Drake May has a slightly better passer rating. Again, leading the entire league. Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl and lost. We don't know what Drake May is going to do yet. And again, I have seen this story play out through my Patriots fandom. So we looked at the times the Patriots went to the Super Bowl. Our winning percentage, 792. This year we are higher. Points, 26. This year we are higher. Defense, 17. This year we're a little bit lower, but higher. Points per game differential, 8.8, 8.5. How about teams that have won 10 straight games? Okay, when the Patriots have won 10 straight games, twice we went to the Super Bowl, once we went to the AFC Championship game. So the question is this. I have one more because there's one more kind of fly in the ointment. And this is the most fascinating one. The easiest schedule, I think, is a fair retort because we have been playing a bunch of tomato cans.
Yep.
Teams to start 11-2 or better in the last 10 years. It was the 16 Patriots, the 24 Eagles. Both of those teams won the Super Bowl. That's what we're on track to do. Now, this is really a shot at my iron sharpens iron theory.
Did those teams, sorry to interrupt,
No, go ahead,
did
'cause
those teams have the easiest schedule?
Yeah, yes. This is the
you're saying we
easiest
have the
schedule to
easiest
go
schedule.
11-2
The
or better.
easiest schedule, right, but so this year's Patriots is markedly easier than either of those teams, right? Am I
Yes.
reading it correctly? Okay.
Yes, but
Well, look,
the
you see
49ers
it, yeah.
have an even easier
Got it.
schedule, but they're not
Got it.
they're
11-2.
not on there. So this is really a shot, Brou, at my iron sharpens iron. this graphic proves or shows that, like, you can get used to winning. And it's almost like the opposite of what the Texans are going through. Like, ooh, the Texans are going through a murderer's row,
right. That's a good point.
and they're supposed to be iron sharpens iron, but maybe they're getting used to losing. So today, although I was forced into it a little bit, I am changing my pick, which is also better editorially for the show, from the Ravens to the Patriots.
And also your pick of who's going to win the Super Bowl.
I would like to draw that out in an additional segment.
See, because my concern
But
sitting
yes.
in this seat with switching a pick, picking the Patriots to win the Super Bowl is very simple. They didn't win last year's.
Yeah,
So I
and
just don't
seat
understand.
automatically
I
goes
don't get
with the
it. Like,
winner.
they didn't win. They're not the defending champs. So
That is a
maybe
fair
you can
point.
convince me. I don't know how they're
How
going
does
to
Thunder
be
look? How does
the
Thunder-
champs.
Let's pull a Thunder
They only
record
won
up.
4 games,
Yeah,
in fact.
yeah, exactly.
Wilds, here's what I'll give you. The Patriots have as great a chance of winning the AFC as anybody.
You know what? I'll take that.
If the Chiefs,
not allowed to?
if the Chiefs,
How dare you?
if the Chiefs make the playoffs, they will be the favorite in the AFC because they will be hot, most likely coming
Yeah.
off
Yes.
5 straight wins, and obviously the experience factor. But if they are not there, why not the Patriots? Every other team, now Buffalo, you got Josh Allen to deal
Yes.
with.
That's
but
it.
every other quarterback
Has
will
question
be
marks.
unproven. So Drake May, that's the knock on him, as great a season as he's having. He's unproven in the playoffs. Bo Nix, unproven. Trevor Lawrence,
Unproven.
mediocre,
Won a playoff game.
unproven, mediocre. Obviously, Daniel Jones, just a mediocre quarterback,
also has a
somewhat
broken
unproven.
leg.
Yeah, and a broken leg, right. CJ Stroud has been pretty good in the playoffs, but at this point, we're starting to wonder how good really is CJ? Is he a great quarterback? Obviously, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, whoever wins AFC North, they, if Baltimore gets on a roll, maybe, but Lamar has had struggles
I'd be
in the
worried about
playoffs.
Lamar.
Yeah, if they get on a roll, but they could make the playoffs and not be on a roll. And then, they could play the same way and maybe make the playoffs, and then you're not worried about
Correct.
it. Ironically, the team that, if they got in the playoffs, and I don't think they will outside of Kansas City, that I think would be concerning would be Cincinnati. If they got in, they will have gone on a heck of a win
Yeah.
streak, and Joe Burrow obviously is proven. That would be the one team that I'd worry about. The Chargers, I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs.
Correct.
And if they do, Herbert's been horrible in the
Excellent.
playoffs. So, yeah, why not the Patriots?
Can I throw I don't like it over here.
No, well, hold on. Well, I haven't been able to do any
I
of
still like
you.
it.
We can trade in a minute.
You
Can
don't look comfortable.
I would
No, I'm not
like to.
comfortable.
I
I
would
feel
like to
uncomfortable.
Nick
be.
looks comfortable.
I would like to be you
Actively
for a moment.
uncomfortable.
But I
because
would
listen.
like you to do your hair regular.
No. I like this is my new look. I don't
It
even. I
doesn't
can't
look
even do
any
it.
different.
It's a side part, like you. So listen, everybody knows I'm a Drake May guy. I'm beloved in New England. People know this so much, and so I was doing what I thought was my job today, which is just bouncing around Reddit looking for memes, and I did. I
have one meme up that hurts your feelings.
And
listen,
Burner
you
phone.
didn't even bring up the fact they might have the best punt returner in the league.
Well, I didn't have time.
We saw that Monday night. So, I mean, this is as I'm regularly on Patriots Reddit finding stuff for the show.
Jones
So here is my question. I have twofold. First question to you is this. Do you think the Broncos are going to beat the Raiders?
Yes.
Okay. Then all the 11-2 10-game winning streak stuff applies to them.
I know.
They also have a second-year quarterback. Now, I know you in that seat don't like Bo Nix.
I know.
But the data on Bo Nix last year was stronger than the data on Drake May. Last year,
Well,
when he had
last
all
year.
last year, and this year, his numbers are better than we talk about him because
Bo Nix is.
Bo Nix.
Sure, but they're not close
No,
to
they're not
Drake
close
May's
to Drake
numbers.
Mays. But the Patriots' defense is not close to the Broncos.
True.
And then here would be the other reason I would pump the brakes a bit. I thought the Patriots should hire Mike Vrabel. I really like Mike Vrabel. It is also true that we have seen Mike Vrabel overachieve in regular seasons, have an 11-win team win a division,
Yeah.
and lose his first home playoff game. We have seen Mike Vrabel have the number 1 seed in the conference to the surprise of everyone, and lose his first home playoff game. So everything Mike Vrabel has done thus far this year to set the culture, to get the team turned around, I think he's great. And I don't think he's like a bad playoff coach.
No.
But we have seen...
Right, and he hasn't had a quarterbaip like Drake May. He had Ryan Tannehill.
100%. Ryan Tannehill often...
Jacoby
Brissett. I think we have seen the Mike Vrabel teams out-execute maybe more talented but more poorly coached teams in the regular season to the tune of gaudy regular season records, and then come the postseason, when the talents are closer to equal, the team not play to its seed, and we've seen it multiple times. So that would be a bit of a concern.
He had one. He lost to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game.
And then the next year, he was an 11-win team with a home playoff game and lost his first one. And the next year was a 12-win team that had the bye and the number 1 seed and lost a home playoff game. This is the next 2 years. That is what happened.
That's a lot to deal with.
You're putting stock in that?
No, but I'm just wondering how it's hitting you.
That Drake May is twice as good as Ryan Tannehill.
I agree.
That's that. Okay. All right, again, I don't like it over there.
You want to trade back?
Yeah, I want to be back in jokes. Okay. Too much of a burden.
He was literally sitting like this the whole time.
Feels like a lot.
I am going to keep the watch.
No, you have to. There's your watch.
I'll keep the watch.
You can. I gave your pomade back. It's over there.
I don't put pomade on during the program. All right, we're moving from the Super Bowl winning Patriots to two teams that are 500. Chiefs and the Ravens both share the same Super Bowl odds. KC hosts the Texans. The Ravens host the Steelers. Here's some playoff scenarios via Dusty and the Athletic Playoff Predictor. This is a brand new graphic we have. All right, so right now, bear with me. Right now, the Chiefs have a 37% chance to make the playoffs entering the game. If they win, it's up to 51%. If they lose, it's down to 11. Baltimore, 64% right now. With a win, it's 76%. With a loss, it's 30%. Just to sort of dig into what's at stake. So the question is, who do you trust more, the Chiefs or the Ravens, to get their season back on track?
Well, look, as much as it pains me to say this,
Brou,
the Chiefs are the better team.
Oh my God!
I'm nothing if not objective.
Now the show's not working.
I gotta tell the truth. The Chiefs are the better team. They've proven it. How many times? They've beaten them the last 3 times they played.
Yeah.
6 out of the last 7 times they played. I think that might even go back. That's the beginning of Mahomes' career. And Lamar as well. So they've proven they're the better team. Obviously, Mahomes is having a better season. Even though this isn't your typical Mahomesian year, it's still better than what Lamar is doing right now. So the Chiefs, and if the Chiefs make the playoffs, they will be, I firmly believe they'll be the favorite in the AFC. If the Ravens make the playoffs,
they might limp
not
in and
so
make
much, right? They could now if they go on a streak and win out, then and Lamar starts playing great again, maybe they'll be the favorite if the Chiefs are out. That said, though, and I think Nick will agree with me, the Ravens have a better chance. I'm not just the numbers. I am more confident in the Ravens making the playoffs than the Chiefs making the playoffs. Because just the path. I mean, the
Ravens are more likely
bad.
to get in. The Chiefs are more likely to do damage if they get in.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
And so here's what I feel about Baltimore, though. The defense is legitimate. I'm not worried about the 32 points they gave up to Cincinnati because in that first half, that defense was great. 4 times Cincinnati was in the red zone. 4 times they forced them to go for field goals. Once it was 1st and goal from the 2. And Baltimore stopped them. So the defense is fine.
For you now, though.
I know, but I do look. I sincerely have confidence that Lamar Jackson is going to come out of this. Now he might not get to the point where he played early in the season, but he's gonna be better than this. And even if he's better but not great, now the coaching staff has to be smart. You got Derrick Henry. And the other two, Keaton, what's his name?
Keaton Mitchell.
Keaton Mitchell is running the ball pretty well. He's averaging 6 yards a carry. Like, you have a run game that you can go to if Lamar's not the old Lamar for the rest of this season. So I feel, like I said, Kansas City is a better team. I would have strong hope for my Ravens if they meet them in the playoffs. But the Ravens do have a better chance of making the playoffs.
So, I mean, to me, this is a no-brainer, and it's less about faith in Kansas City. The Ravens have not looked good once all year. The closest they've come to a game you left feeling great about was a game Lamar didn't play, the win against Chicago.
You know right.
Like
you know what I mean? That's the
and I thought they played. I mean, they blew it.
But week one.
Yeah, against
week
Buffalo,
one
they
for
looked
55
great.
minutes, they looked like
first.
the best team. Right. Their high water mark of the season is the 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter of game one.
Right.
And then since then, I don't feel like there is a single game. The Ravens, again, the Bears game maybe, but you feel like that doesn't have Lamar, so it's such a meaningless to what they're going to be moving forward. You can hang your hat on. So the Chiefs have a lot of issues that I've talked about, and the third down stuff, the defense, the offense having extended flashes of brilliance, then extended periods of like doing nothing, and they right now have 3 starting offensive linemen not practicing. One just went to the IR.
Not good.
Coming up against the Texans, not good. But the Chiefs do have whole games to look to from this season of like, that's when we showed what we could be. Now, what you could be gets you nothing, but at least it's something to hang your hat on. The Ravens, to me, and this isn't a poke at Brou at all, have been the most disappointing team in the NFL this year. As far as the preseason expectation, the lack of explanation as to why it has gone awry, the fact that they do clearly have a defense that can be competent. So why was it for the second year in a row the worst defense in football for the first month and a half of the year? Lamar's mysterious decay for this month of football to where he's playing the worst football since his rookie year and statistically the worst stretch of his career. The weird disconnect between the head coach and the star quarterback about when he will and won't play, all of it to me is just season from hell stuff. So I just don't trust the Ravens at all. I don't dismiss the Bengals as a possibility purely because I don't think the Ravens are trustworthy, and I think the Steelers are wholly untrustworthy. Like, to me, it is, I would trust basically every team right now that's ahead of Baltimore in the standings. No, the Chiefs have the same record, more than Baltimore.
Really? So, Baltimore, what if they, maybe a big if, win out or go 4-1 down the stretch and look better?
That would change my opinion. Yes, that would, as much as I can trust any Baltimore team going into the problem for them is double fold for me, Wilds. If they were 14-3 and looked awesome, I'd go into the playoffs and be like, yeah, I don't think that's the team we're going to get because it's a team we've never gotten. So I certainly don't think if they're a team that's 9-8 and gets a playoff spot by default because the Steelers fall apart, that all of a sudden they're going to play their best football in a year. I just don't trust the Ravens.
I'm hoping it'll be the inverse. Of what
bad year and then a great playoff run.
That adversity.
Is there a scenario where they can give Lamar an extra week of rest somehow? No.
Not at this point. They need to. They have to have the attitude where they need to win out. I don't think they have to win out, but they have to have that attitude.
I know it's not like the greatest analysis in the world, but I just think Lamar's hurt and he's trying to play through pain or injury or whatever. He can't push off, and everything is down to such a dramatic degree that there's no other explanation other than being hurt. Like you can't it was hamstring, knee, ankle, toe. So the whole, is it all one side?
I don't know that, to be honest with you.
They don't know if they tell us.
They got the Bengals, they got Pittsburgh twice. Who else?
Show the Ravens schedule. So here would
Green Bay,
here would be the hope for what you're talking about, Wilds.
Yeah.
It would be this. They beat Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, and then Pittsburgh full on falls apart to where they have the division clinched by week 18. And then they're like, well, we're going to be the 4th seed no matter what. You know what I mean? We are just resting our guys.
Right.
That would take because the team chasing them, obviously the team they play in Week 18, that would take a full-on Pittsburgh collapse.
That's very much on the board.
But that does feel on the board. So that's
Yeah,
where
but Baltimore also
would
probably have to beat Green Bay and New England.
Correct.
To be in that situation.
Again, we're looking for a loss.
the,
We're
yeah.
so good, we're trying.
You hear that, Ravens?
We're looking for a loss.
No, I
We're
get
looking
it.
to be a little
You
bit
need a
stressed
loss.
out, so I'm
Yes.
trying to be a nice guy. We don't want to win all the games. Jerry Jones, not talking about the Super Bowl yet. He is talking about the playoffs. They had a Cowboys-Lions, which is tomorrow. That might be true. The Eagles are still heavy favorites. This is their dual pass. The Eagles have Chargers, Raiders, Commanders, Bills, Commanders, while the Cowboys have the Lions again on Thursday. Vikings, Chargers, Commanders, Giants. Man, I could see it. So, are you giving the Cowboys any chance to catch the Eagles?
Leave that up for a second because it's very simple. The Cowboys have to win 2 more games than Philadelphia does.
Yeah.
So let's just assume the Cowboys go 4-1. Because I think just saying that, if they run the table, man, it's very, very hard to run the table.
Yep.
So 4-1 though, to me, it's like, okay, go 2-1 against the Lions, Chargers, and at the Commanders, and beat the teams you're definitively supposed to beat, the Vikings and Giants. That's doable.
Yep.
Can you see Philadelphia going 2-3? That's the question. The question is that simple to me. Can you see Philadelphia losing 3 of those games? And
I see 2.
I have so little faith in the Eagles' infrastructure, even though I have so much faith in the overall talent of the roster, that I could see them winning their next 2, and then at the Commanders, getting clipped with Jaden being back. That's a divisional road game. At the Bills in a game the Bills need, and then finding themselves in, oh my God, we're at home in Week 18, where if we win the division, and if we lose, the Cowboys win the division.
You could start getting booed in the first quarter.
Correct. And so, that's where the more logical path would be they lose to the Chargers. They lose their 3 road games, essentially. At the Chargers, at the Commanders, at the Bills. And that's how it happens. But I think Philly's D-line is good enough to beat the Chargers alone. Like the Chargers banged up offensive line, Philly D-line. That should swing that game. I just don't trust right now, Brou, Philadelphia's ability to stave off a 2023-esque collapse.
Well, I think the chances are very slim that the Cowboys can pass them. They're not non-existent. Yeah. And I will change I think this week's game is huge. I don't think Philly has fallen off as much as you do. I feel like they're fine. You lose some games in the regular season. You have some bad performances, but they have championship mettle. They'll be fine. If they lose to the Chargers, 3 straight losses, that's when I will believe the supernatural funk is here.
Okay.
So if they lose to the Chargers, it could be worse than you point out. If they lose to the Chargers and the funk comes back, they darn near lost out 2 years ago.
Yep.
After going 10-1. So I think they could really fall off, and that would be the problem. But I expect them to beat the Chargers, and then they'll be fine, and they'll hold off the Cowboys.
So when I'm back in this seat, I can just tell more ridiculous stories. When I'm over there, I have to do hardcore.
You got a Reddit post?
No. I've read one Reddit post. I was in a relationship.
Wow. This will be good.
This will be good. This is serious.
Lean in here.
It's like early 20s. And we went on a double date.
Early 2020s?
Early 20s. I was in mid-20s. I was 20-something. And we went out on a double date with another couple who eventually got married. And I thought I was in a good relationship. And then I saw how they were interacting. I was like, oof. You guys are really in love, huh? I thought I was doing good. Wow. But I was like, we don't rock like that.
Yeah.
When you say that the Eagles are fine, the Patriots are fine, we see the Bears locker room is fine. I see how the vibes in Seattle are fine. The Rams are fine. The Eagles are not fine, man. They're not even
just
close
lost
to
to
fine.
The Carolina
but the
Panthers.
vibes, all right. How about the Bears
if
then?
the Eagles lost to the Carolina Panthers, this is what
They're
we
not
do
fine,
with the
is what
Eagles.
I'm saying.
We were
They're
doing this
breaking up.
last year. A.J. Brown's reading books on the sideline, and we think they're in trouble.
They're in trouble.
Well, so two very quick things. First one, what I thought you were going to say is the relationship between coach and quarterback that's going to be the dichotomy Monday night. Between Jim Harbaugh, who's like, I will fight and die
for the best
Justin
quarterback of all
Herbert, the
time.
best quarterback of all time. And then what has always seemed to be, a marriage of convenience between Sirianni and Hurts. I thought that's where you were going with it. Here's what I would say to you, Brou. If we were to say all of the teams in the league that are 8-4 or better, power rank them and most likely to collapse. Yeah. I think everyone would have Indy right now number one.
Yes.
Because the quarterback's got a hairline fracture.
He's got a broken
in his
leg.
Shin. And then the next two picks, I think, would probably be the two teams playing this weekend. Or
the Chargers are certainly
the Chargers Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, again,
he's got a broken hand.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because this is what we do with the Eagles, and it's their own doing. They brought it on themselves, but this is what we do with them.
All right, that's when we probably were number one. It's time now for a segment that grows more literal by the day. Must win. Greg Jennings is here. Bears in Green Bay. Packers almost 7-point underdogs. Now, Chicago has feasted.
Packers, by the way, are almost 7-point favorites.
Packers are almost 7-point favorites.
As they should be.
Ever since Greg showed up and destroyed me in ping pong.
He did destroy you, too, from what I hear.
It was bad.
It wasn't good.
But let's keep
I was good in practice. So here's the thing. Green Bay does not give the ball up. Chicago takes the ball away. I never like leading the league in takeaways, just my own take. Greg, Coach won the last edition of Must Win, so that seat has control of the board. You can choose to pass or play.
I'm going to play.
Wow, excellent.
This is absolutely a must-win for the Green Bay Packers. When you look at this game, obviously we go to the field first and we look at the quarterback position, and the Green Bay Packers have for a long time had the best quarterback in this series for a long time. Now, with the addition of Ben Johnson at the head coach position, calling plays, being creative, using Caleb in ways to where he's not there yet, but this offense looks really good. There's a lot of buzz coming out of Chicago. Records out the window, I don't care. It's Green Bay Bears. Packers, they're at home. You get it done. You need this game. You play them in a couple weeks. It's important for both teams, yes, but it's definitely more important for you. You're in the back seat. You need to get in the driver's seat. That's what we do. Cheese heads all day. We win.
A little bit of fandom.
Next topic.
What? We
We don't need to talk to these guys.
So
Yeah, we
Greg's
That wasn't
correct
quite as good as
in
your
that
ping pong play.
They play again in a couple weeks. So for neither team is this even a metaphorical must-win. It is, however, for one individual, because there's only one person involved in this series that guaranteed a split. I'm guaranteed better than a split, a sweep. And that is Ben Johnson.
He did.
It is
He
a
guaranteed
must.
a sweep?
Well, I'll bring it to you in just a moment. This is the second straight must-win for Ben Johnson because of some offseason comments. Last week, he was playing the Eagles, the team who he denigrated their beloved tush push. And his team helped him walk that walk when they not only stopped the tush push, but forced a turnover on it. Ben Johnson, the day he was introduced as the head coach of the Chicago Bears, whose name came out of his mouth about beating him twice a year. Well, you can't beat him twice if you don't beat him this time. It's a must-win for Ben Johnson.
No,
now,
like elements.
you can probably go ahead because, Brou, save your ammo for the next one.
It is what? Green Bay. It's a must-win for Green Bay. Here's the thing.
Okay.
All of Ben Johnson's bluster aside, it's already a successful season for the Bears. They're not S-Bob. They get into the playoffs, which they look like they'll do. It's a great season. All right, for Green Bay, I know they're the youngest team in the league for the third straight year. But you know what they also are? You know what they also are?
What?
They are a team that for the third year is going to make the playoff, third straight year. They are a team that's been knocking at that door, chipping away. Look at some of the other teams that have chipped away for a little while, and you think, oh, this is the beginning of something special. Does it look special right now in Detroit? No. The window may have closed on them. Does it look special right now in Baltimore? No, the window may have closed on him. How about Buffalo? No, it may have. It's just that if you keep knocking at the door but can't push it in, then it starts to wear on you and you can start to go the other way. So they need to show Chicago we are the class of the division. We are the team headed to the playoffs. Thank you, Wallace, for the point.
I'm just telling you, strategically, it's good to run the anchor leg. Brou, win.
Thank you. You did all right, Nick. That was a good try.
Next up, Bengals in Buffalo. Joe Burrow keeping playoff hopes alive. Now, Josh, get this, hasn't beaten Joe Burrow. I didn't realize this, and hasn't played that well during it. Well, two games. But look, 14 points, completion percentage, only 63, under 300 total yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 turnovers, and passer rating in the 70s. Nick, the board is yours.
I noted, KW,
Yeah.
that unlike last week, you did not put a prohibition on our answers.
I mean,
So, an
tread
oldie but a
carefully.
goodie.
Greg,
But this is a vintage, classic, not that rare but still important, double must win. For Buffalo, this is, if not now, when are you going to break through? The Bills, if they can't make the Super Bowl this season, and they can't win, they might not even have to go through Patrick, might not even have to go through Lamar, win this game, you don't even have to go through Joe Burrow, then it is legitimate. While I'm not ready to talk Patriot dynasty, it is legitimate to talk, did we miss our window of even being the best team in our own division without ever making a Super Bowl? So they have to start stacking quality wins. And for the Bengals, it's a literal must win. They have to win all of their games. If they do, by the way, they'll win that division. Because the Steelers, unless you think the Steelers-Ravens are going to sweep each other, the Bengals have a really good opportunity. Your beloved athletic playoff predictor has them north of 80% to win the division if they win out, no matter what everybody else does. But if they lose, they're down just a couple percentage points. It's a true vintage double must win.
You're in a tough spot because double must win, kind of takes a lot of oxygen.
It's not the double must win. Oh. All right. The Bills are making the play.
You just said their window was closing.
Okay. But beating Cincinnati is not going to reopen the window.
Losing. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead, sorry.
This is a must win for Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Why'd you bring him back? I mean, you know me, I'm old school, I'm Bruto.
Yeah.
I love his talk about, if I'm healthy, I'm playing.
Yeah.
It doesn't even cross my mind to sit out a game. I'm a football player. All right, I get all that, and I get how the teammates might respect that, but this is also a business. All right, and you have an injury-prone franchise quarterback. And so why in the world did you bring him back? It's because you thought you had hope of making the playoffs. If you lose this game, your playoff hopes are over, and Joe Burrow's still going to want to play. But the morale in the locker room will be low. They have nothing to play for, and then injury is a greater possibility.
Wow,
so they need to win this game.
Wow.
Stay in the playoff race.
This is a must-win for the Buffalo Bills. Wild, you put it on the screen before we even started this. Josh Allen hasn't beaten Joe Burrow. This is an opportunity. It's laid up for you if you are the Buffalo Bills. You got your running game back on track. You're playing against an offense that is led by the passing game. Well, what does your defense do well? We stop the pass. You don't pass against the Buffalo Bills. And so if you're Joe Burrow in this happy pass attack, I don't care if your toe feels a little bit better. You're playing against our defense, and the strength of our defense is stopping the pass. Josh Allen's going to get back on track because going into the stretch of the season, you got to have great quarterback play, and you got to protect the ball better. You got the running game. Get it done. Buffalo, this is a must-win. Get it done. Appreciate that, Wild, even though yesterday was hard for you. I appreciate you putting it down there.
The rare point to the double must win.
Thank you, KW. It was obvious.
This one, now, Greg, you're in
It's
luck.
okay.
This one is worth double. Eagles, Chargers. This is the bonus round.
It's been, I think, 3 must-wins since Brou got a point.
Brou had the
I just got a point.
This is Eagles, Chargers. If you see Trey Lance there, peeking over Justin Herbert's shoulders because Justin Herbert did not practice today. So he might get the start if Herbert can't go. These two teams, statistically more similar than I expected, except that it turns out the Eagles are outgained on the season by 500 yards, while the Chargers outgained their opponents by 800 and almost 60 yards. So it doesn't totally mean a lot because they're both 8-4, but it's
Something Josh told you,
that
so we
is-
put it on the tip.
You don't think that's interesting? Minus 509.
You just said it doesn't mean. I
mean,
thought it
it's
was
something.
interesting until the person who was telling me about it was like,
I'm
it's
saying
not
it's
that
something.
important.
Well, I mean, well, they're still 8-4. I'm saying it's something.
Okay.
Brou, you have a chance to steal the victory because this is worth 2.
Yeah,
Who's this a
wow,
must-win for?
I got a call from someone earlier today.
Goodness.
Oh, an acquaintance. And he's out in LA, and he's a big Eagles guy. He can't wait to get on the flight with them after they play the Chargers back to LA.
He's going to be on the
He
plane?
wants to be.
Is that a lot?
His name's Essen. Essen Funk. Short for supernatural funk. This is a must-win for the Eagles
Essen.
because if they lose this game, Essen Funk, supernatural funk, is getting on that flight with them cross country, and their season could be over.
Wow.
But it is the rare double must-win. Because for the Chargers,
Why do
have
the
you
Chargers
seen
go-
their schedule? We talk about win out. They
Bro,
could lose out.
Land the plane. You did.
They
literally,
could
you did an
lose
Essen
out.
thing.
So this is the double must
I don't know if
win.
we need to go the double.
But it is. The Chargers have Philly,
Yeah, it's on the
Kansas
screen,
City,
Bro.
Dallas,
Oh, this
Houston,
is the lowest common denominator.
and
Just put
Denver.
the schedule up.
Yeah.
I know, but you did the cool Essen.
Well, give it to me for the beginning.
All right,
Beginning was
Greg,
fire.
it's still open because he fumbled it at the goal line with the double must win.
Yeah, he was right at the end. It is a double must win.
Oh, Greg, double must win.
It's definitely a double must win.
Let's
And
just move on to Nick. He can't copy me like that.
Can you sit down like you did, like you chose to yesterday for the holiday party? Okay, it's a double
You
must
lucky or
win.
you wouldn't have won
It's
that ping pong
It's a double must win because if you are Philly, the last thing you want to do is have to put up a rearview mirror because somebody is on your bumper, and that's the Dallas Cowboys. Get it done, and the mirror's down. You remove that. And when you go to the Chargers, guys, it is time. Joe Burrow, I don't care who's hovering over your shoulder. They don't get to play. You got to play.
I hate that.
You got to put stuff to sleep. And right now, I'm going to stand up, get out my box.
Said Joe Burrow.
Put this red monster to sleep in their season. Period. It is a must-win for you and the Eagles.
So close.
Chargers.
Wow, Greg.
Greg.
Make it,
Greg,
make it
you know
happen.
how
so
you know how
close.
when you were playing they would say the eye in the sky don't lie. Go back and do film study.
When you look at that film,
When
you're
you
gonna
go back and look, you're going to
furious.
say, "Man, I did everything right, except I called Justin Herbert Joe Burrow." And then I started yelling at Nick.
You're so close.
Oh,
It's just like stepping out of bounds.
You know what I meant.
Touchdown.
He reached for the pylon at the end while celebrating early, and now all of a sudden it's touchback. This guy made the catch of the year, and we looked, and he only got 1 foot in bounds like it's college.
It's just-
So I'm just going to go out and tell you, it's a single must-win. It is only a must-win for Philadelphia because the Chargers have the built-in excuse of our quarterback has a broken hand and had surgery a few days ago. They also, oddly, have more of a margin of error than Philadelphia does if we believe the Cowboys are about to go on the run that we all talk about, and because Philadelphia has the funk hanging over them. They have spent all their draft resources for 5 years on building the biggest, baddest defensive line in football, and they traded for another guy at the deadline. The Chargers' offensive line is their biggest weakness. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Jalen Phillips will be able to win this game by themselves. It'll be a de facto home game for Philadelphia. All their fans will go cross country to LA for the game. It's a must-win for the Eagles.
In my defense, my mistake
Oh no.
for Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, okay, both J names. But yesterday's mistake, I'm just following the trend of this show. This is what we
Oh,
do.
no. Oh, he's throwing our producers under the bus.
No, I'm throwing you under the bus.
Ryan Tannehill. What did I do? Yeah, what did I do?
You okayed the mountain.
What?
There's
No,
no
okay.
way Ryan Tannehill's face should have been on Jacoby Brissett.
The point you made about everyone getting on the plane reminded me of Essen getting on the plane. Brou takes it.
Yes,
There's
baby!
a guy named Essen. His last name Funk.
Thank you. Back where it belongs. The trophy is back where it belongs. Thank you.
Next. Chris Paul.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.